Good morning, everyone. Uh, Today, I'm presenting part 3 of a laser in pediatric dentistry. These are my contents, which include endodontics treatment, indirect pulp capping, direct pulp capping, pulpotomy, non-vital pulp therapy, or root canal treatment, apexogenesis, apexotomy, soft tissue application, which includes exposure of a teeth to aid tooth eruption, frenectomy, after ulcer treatment, herpes labialis lesion treatment, removal of a lesions and biopsy, dentigeria cyst, treatment of a mucocele, laser analgesia, conclusion and references. Starting with the laser use in endodontics, laser can be used in a vital pulp therapy and non-vital pulp therapy. Vital pulp therapy like indirect pulp capping, direct pulp capping, pulpotomy, apexogenesis, and non-vital pulp therapy. Starting with the indirect pulp capping. Indirect pulp capping is defined as a procedure wherein the deepest layer of a remaining affected carious lesion is covered with the biocompatible material to prevent the pulp exposure and further trauma to the pulp. Laser is cause antibacterial effect on a dentinal tubules and accelerate the rate of a dentin bridge formation in a deep carious lesion. The depth is 300 micrometer, and local anesthesia. One more advantages is that local anesthesia is not required in the indirect pulp capping. These are the lasers used for indirect pulp capping. EREG with a wavelength of a 2940 nanometer. The settings for EREG is a 0.6 volt, 100 microsecond pulse duration, air 50% air and 40% water for a 30 second. CO2 laser, for CO2 laser settings are 51 microsecond pulse duration, 40% water, and spot size is spot size should be 250 micrometer. For a diode laser, it is used at a 1 volt continuous wave, and for a 10 seconds. Now, one article, comparative evaluation of effect of a laser on and biodentin in a dentin regeneration, a clinical study. In that, they have divided into 4 group. Group 1, which is RMGIC. Group 2, laser plus RMGIC. Group 3, biodentin, and group 4, laser plus biodentin. In that, they have concluded after the 12-month, laser and biodentins are a good indirect pulp capping agent, and a laser has an additional effect on a tertiary dentin formation. Now, direct pulp capping. Direct pulp capping defined as a procedure in which exposed vital pulp tissue is covered by the protecting dressing medicament, and on an exposure site to maintain the vitality of the pulp. The exposed pulp can be coagulated by a laser, and the pulpal area is covered using pulp capping material like MTA, calcium hydroxide. These are the lasers used for direct pulp capping. Carbon dioxide, 0.5 to 1 volt continuous wave and pulse wave for a time of 0.5 to 3 seconds. Nd:YAG used at a 1.75 to 2 volt with a 20 pps, and for a time of 0.5 to 20 seconds. EREG used at 25 to 200 microjoule energy and pulse at 2 to 200 pps, and 5 to 15 seconds. ER chromium YSGG used as a 0.25 to 0.5 volt, and with a 10 to 20 pps pulse rate, and 5 to 15 second. And diode is used for 0 to 7 to 5 volt and continuous wave at for 1 to 2 seconds. Now for a pulp, indirect pulp capping, first caries is removed. Then on a exposure site, laser application is done. After achieving hemostasis, the protective layer of a biocompatible material is placed, and on that permanent restoration should be done. After 1 month, there is a formation of a dentinal bridge is seen. Now this is a literature for a direct pulp capping. Santosi in 1977 first reported a high success rate of a 90% after 6 months using NDX laser for coagulation and glass ionomer cement as a pulp capping agent. Melser et al. In 1998 used CO2 lasers on a dog and monkeys to achieve the hemostasis after pulp tissue exposure. Olivi G in 2007 has an application of a ER chromium YSGG and carbon dioxide laser for a pulp coagulation has shown more favorable result after 2 years in comparison with the calcium hydroxide. One article, the laser used in a direct pulp capping, a meta-analysis. In that, there is a in article they have mentioned that the articles they have included has a more variation for a methodology, and there is a no effective settings for lasers to be applied, and so they have concluded that the use of lasers effectively improve the prognosis of a direct pulp capping treatment for permanent teeth, but the more accurate clinical study should be there. Now pulpotomy. Pulpotomy is a removal of the coronal pulp, exposed coronal pulp tissue, and preserving the on that placing a biocompatible material and preserving the vitality of the radicular pulp. The amputation of a pulp chamber by preserving the vitality of a radicular will be later treated with the medical products. Pulpotomy procedure using laser. The advantages is bloodless field by vaporization, coagulation, and sealing small blood vessels and sterile wound. These are the lasers used for a pulpotomy. Carbon dioxide lasers at a 50 pulse duration for a 20 seconds and 100 with a 100% water, and the sport size should be 0.25 mm. Nd:Eg used as a non-contact mode, 2 volt, 20 hertz, and energy should be 100 microjoule, and diameter is a 320 mm. EREG used as a at a 30 hertz, 55 millijoule, and at a 1.65 volt for a 15 seconds, and the diameter of a tip size should be 600 μm. And the pulse duration should be 300 microsecond. And diode laser is used at a diode laser is a use 980 nanometer wavelength, and 3 volt, and energy should be 4.0 joule per centimeter square, and the diameter of a fiber should be 0.5 for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Now literatures. Paschek and A et al. In 2002 stated that the pulpotomy of a primary teeth with a carbon dioxide laser compared to the pharmacrystal pulpotomy, CO2 laser had a success rate of 98.1% clinically and 91.8 radiographically, which is more than a pharmacrystal. In 2005, Nair et al. Has done used carbon dioxide laser on 5 teeth. After 7 days, they show pathological changes at a pulp dentin complex, and after 3 months, the post-operative, the two tooth showed a subtitle distinct appositions of a tertiary dentin, and one tooth showed inflammation. In 2007, Udavas, Amy, Nd:YAG laser for a pulpotomy of a primary tooth have a reported 71.42% clinical and 85.71% radiographical success after 12 months, which is lesser than the formocresol. So the Nd:YAG is not used as a pulpotomy. Now one article, laser pulpotomy and effective alternative to conventional technique, a 12-month study. The aim of the study was to compare the laser with the ferric sulfate and electrosurgery pulpotomy. After 12-month follow-up, both clinical and radiographical success was 100% in laser group and 80% in a ferric sulfate and electrosurgery. Now, post-operative assessment of a diode laser, zinc oxide, eugenol, and mineral MTA pulpotomy procedure in children. In that, they have, after a 12-month follow-up, they have found that 100% teeth treated with the diode laser and MTA, and 94 treated with the diode laser plus ZOE. Now, laser pulpotomy. An effective alternative to conventional technique, a systematic review of a literature and meta-analysis. In that there is a variation in a methodology of a performance procedure for a pulpotomy. So they have concluded that the more randomized clinical trials with the same method are required in order to achieve the better conclusion. Now, moving to the non-vital pulp therapy or a root canal treatment. The first step is excess cavity preparation, and the laser has been used in a root canal treatment. ER chromium YSGC can be used for excess cavity. Nd:YAG used for the removal of the pulp remnant and debris and control of a hemorrhage. Laser in a root canal and shaping. Root canal shaping aim at a removal of organic tissue and facilitates irrigation and canal obturation. The laser beam can be delivered to the optical fiber that allows for a better access to the root canal. The diameter of the tip should be 200 to 400 micrometer, which is equivalent to 20 to 40 number file. Plus Nd:YAG laser is used at a 50 hertz or a 1.5 volt, can be irradiated smear layer completely with the dentinal tubule sealing. Now, some literatures. Levy in 1992 found that the clean and regular root canal wall could be achieved using Nd:YAG laser irradiated from the apical to coronal surface in continuous and circulating fashion. Sosa and et al. In 2005 evaluated the addition of epoxy-based laser in human dentin with ER-YAG and Nd:YAG laser. They found that the increase frequency of a laser independent of a power settings increase the addition of a epoxy based root canal sealers. Mora et Neto et al. 2010 assessed the influence of Nd:YAG and diode laser irradiation on a apical sealing when applied before root canal filling with two different resin based cement, which is AH plus and endo rays. The SEM analysis as well as leakage result revealed that the adaptation of a AH plus is more in a with Nd:YAG laser. Now, limitations. Root canal space are often curved in at least 2 dimensions. The conventional root canal instrument follow the curvature in the root, but laser will be only travel in a straight path. So it is difficult to reach the apical area. Further, the interaction between the laser energy and tissue can cause a rise in a temperature that can affect the canal space as well as the outer surface of the tooth, resulting injury to the dentin, soft tissue surrounding the bone, result in ankylosis and eventual loss of the tooth. Moreover, the cycles of a melting and resolidification of a radicular walls dentin apparently have a no positive effect on a clinical outcome. Now some literature which is showing that the laser can cause the increase in temperature while using for a root canal BMP. Temperature variations at a external root surface during 980 nanometer diode laser irradiation in a root canal. In that they have used 1.5 volt diode laser for a 1.5 volt, 3 volt, and 5 volt. They have found that the group of irradiation with the 5 volt present a greatest temperature variation, followed by the 3 and 1.5, and the temperature is more at a cervical third area, followed by the middle and apical. Then the temperature variation at the external root surface during the Nd:YAG laser irradiation in the root canal in vitro study. In that they have used Nd:YAG laser at a 4.5 volt, and 3 volt and 1.5 volt, and they have found that the 1.4 has a greater temperature, followed by the 3 and 1.5. The apical half of the root presented statistically higher temperature than the cervical root of the cervical half of the root. The temperature variation of a root surface was associated with the laser power, irradiation time, and the thickness of the dentin. And the application of Nd:YAG laser in the root at 1.5 for 20 seconds can be safe. Now root canal disinfection and irrigation. Root canal disinfection can be treated with the Nd:YAG and diode laser for their high bactericidal effects in a root canal. Pulse Nd:YAG laser is used at 50 Hz and 1.5 can be irradiate smear layer completely within the root canal tissues. Now Mashovo et al. In 1995 compared the efficacy of an Nd:YAG laser irradiated with the sodium hypochlorite in disinfecting root canal system. Results showed that the Nd:YAG laser irradiated significantly reduced the number of bacteria, while sodium hypochlorite irrigation effectively disinfect the root canal. Klein et al. In 1997 evaluated the bactericidal effect of an Nd:YAG laser irradiation in a different thickness of a root canal dentin, found highly significant elimination of bacteria for all the thickness. Lee Golf et al. In 2000 compared the bactericidal action of a carbon dioxide laser on an animal teeth infected with the Actinomyces odontolyticus with the hypochlorite. Result shows that the 85% decrease in the colony forming units in a laser treated group and compared with the control group. Perrin et al. 2004 evaluated the antimicrobial effect of a ERA laser irradiation versus 1% sodium hypochlorite. Finding showed that the sodium hypochlorite solution and ERA laser irradiation to working length were effective against all the microorganisms, and 70% of specimen irradiated 3 mm shorter of the apex remain infected. Now, morphological changes correlating the different sensitive of a Escherichia coli and Enterococcus faecalis to the Nd:YAG laser irradiation through dentin. In that, they have assessed the disinfecting potential of Nd:YAG laser irradiation through dentin on a gram negative, gram positive bacteria. On gram negative, it showed immediate structural injury, and on a gram positive test, organism require repeated application of irradiation. Now, bactericidal effect of a NDX laser irradiation on some endodontic pathogens ex vivo study. In that, they have concluded that the NDX laser irradiation was not an alternative but possible supplement to existing protocol for a canal disinfection, as a properties of a laser light may allow a bactericidal effect beyond a 1 mm of a dentin. Now, laser. This article is on a comparison between NDX and diode laser at 110 nanometer wavelength and 980 nanometer wavelength. In that, they have found that the bacteria that are present in infected teeth is ablated successfully by three lasers, and the pigmented bacteria are effectively removed by the NDX laser. Moreover, the deeper dentin layer NDX laser shows a better result. And concerning about the handiness, size, and purchase price, diode laser is more preferable. Now, limitations of a conventional laser removal for a disinfection. The removal of the smear layer and debris by a laser is possible. However, it is difficult to clean all the root canal walls because a laser beam is travel in a straight line. The recommended improving the endodontic tip. This is recommended that improving the endodontic tip to enable the irradiation of all the areas of the root canal wall. Though the laser activated irrigation has good result, but the disadvantage is apical extrusion of a irrigation solution. Now, starting with the various laser activated disinfection, antimicrobial photodynamic therapy. In that, photosensitizer or a non-toxic photoactivable dye, visible light, and reactive oxygens used, and considered as a supplement to traditional protocol for the canal disinfection, and may be combined with the usual mechanical instrument and chemical antimicrobials. For application, first apply the photosensitizer, then light illumination of a sensitized tissue which generate the toxic photochemistry on a target tissue that kills the microorganism. Now, one article on antimicrobial photodynamic therapy in endodontics literature review. The use of antimicrobial photodynamic therapy as an adjunct to the usual root canal preparation and irrigation technique. The important in case of a previously failed endodontic treatment, and refractory infection which are resistant to antibiotic therapy, because bacterial film is extremely difficult to remove with the usual endodontic therapy. Now, antimicrobial photodynamic therapy, an effective alternative approach to control the bacterial infection. The purpose of this study review article is in vitro and in vivo effectiveness of antimicrobial photodynamic therapy in field of bacteriology. So in that they have concluded that the antimicrobial photodynamic therapy can be an effective method in treatment of a localized and superficial infection. Now, photodynamic activated infection, which is paid, the difference between antimicrobial and paid is that in that we use by visible light, and while in a paid laser is used, most commonly diode laser is used. PAID is another laser activated disinfection technique. In that, the first dye is applied into the root canal system, followed by the laser irradiation emitted from the low power, which is 100 microvolt. In that, when activated, when laser is applied onto the dye, there is a formation of activated photosensitization, which reacts with the molecular of oxygen and produce the produce the free radical ions and reactive oxygens, which acts on a microorganism and cause injury and death of a microorganism. Now, an article by Niyati et al. They have concluded that sodium hypochlorite alone was not effective in eliminating the E. fecalis completely from the root canal. PAID compared to the conventional irrigation showed the best result removing E. fecalis from the root canal. Now one more article in that they have used 6 group of different disinfections. Group 1, which is diode laser; group 2, PAID laser; group 3, PAD with the 3D endoprobe; group 4 is a 30 gauge syringe irrigation with the hypochlorite sodium hypochlorite; group 5, which is a sodium hypochlorite with the sonic irrigation; and group 6, 30 gauge syringe irrigation with the sodium hypochlorite. And in that they have found that the PAID and endo activator system were more successful in reducing the root canal infection than the diode laser and sodium hypochlorite irrigation. Now for application of laser activated disinfection, they have modified the tip, which is known as a photon initiated photocaustic streaming. In this tip, it is a taper tip, conical tip, and taper with the taper end, and special taper radial firing fiber tip, though the root canal orifice instead of being inserted into the root canal. This technique minimizes the undesirable thermal infection on a duodenal walls seen with other methodologies. The PIPS tip is inserted into the only 1/3 of the coronal. In that first we have to done the cleaning and shaping of the canals. After that we have to pour the solution till the half of the chamber with the sodium hypochlorite, and then the PIPS tip is used for the irrigation. A mechanism for the disinfection for this tip is because of a high and for these laser use is a EREG laser, and mechanism is a high absorption rate of the EREG in water. The bubble formation is corresponding collapse, creating a strong pressure wave. A shock wave is generated at a lower energy levels, reducing the undesirable thermal effects commonly seen with other laser system. Now one article on that, Mohammed et al. Have used divided into 4 groups. Group 1 is control group. Group 2 is PIPS with the 6% sodium hypochlorite. Group 3 PIPS plus saline, and group 4 is a 6% hypochlorite. In that they have found that the in that they have used EREG laser at settings of 100 microsecond pulse, 20 microjoule, and 15 hertz for an average of power 0.3 volt. In that they have concluded that the PIPS system along with the sodium hypochlorite showed a most efficient eradication of a bacterial film. Now for obturation, laser can be used for the softening of the gutta percha. Argon, carbon dioxide, and Nd:YAG laser should be used. Now one article on a comparison of a sealing ability of a laser softened, literally condensed and low temperature thermoplastic gutta percha. In that they have compared a four technique. First one is a literal condensation, second one is a low temperature gutta percha, which is ultrafill, then vertical condensation of a gutta percha softened by a means of a three different laser device, which is a argon, carbon dioxide and Nd:YAG, and composite resin photo polymerized by a argon laser. And in that they have found that the dye penetration is more in a composite resin, followed by the carbon dioxide and Nd:YAG laser. And in that they have found that the gutta percha softened with the argon laser created an apical sheet almost identical to the obtained with the lateral condensation and ultrafill technique. Now, removal of the obturation material. Nd:YAG laser irradiation is an effective tool for the removal of the root canal obturation material. The advantages is time required for the removal is lesser than the conventional technique. Now, one article on removal of, by Windusi, in that they have aim of the study was to examine the use of Nd:YAG laser in remaining gutta percha filling from root canal when used in conjunction of with the solvent. In that they have used a Nd:YAG laser alone is capable of softening the gutta percha, and an addition of a solvent did not improve the retreatment either in a term of time required of a procedure or in term of area of remaining gutta percha on a root canal walls. Now, one more article by Anjo 2004. In that to examine the usefulness of a pulse Nd:YAG laser in removing the two type of endodontic obturating materials. In that they have found that the Nd:YAG laser irradiation is an effective tool for a removal of the root canal obturation material and offer advantages over the conventional method. Now, comparison of the gutta percha from root canal with the laser using different solvents. In that they have used diode laser with the chloroform and Endosol E. In that they have found that the diode laser along with the chloroform as a solvent was more effective than the Endosol. Now, apexotomy. Apexotomy is an endodontic surgical procedure whereby a root tip is removed and a root and cavity is prepared and filled with the biocompatible material. In that Nd:YAG diode and carbon dioxide laser can be used to provide the clean incision for gaining the direct access to the periapical periradicular region, and ER-YAG and ER chromium bias-CG laser can be used for the sectioning of the apical third. Now, Kreiser et al. In 2004 evaluated the effect of a low-level laser application on a post-operative pain after endodontic surgery and found that it can be beneficial for a reduction of the post-operative pain. Nd:YAG laser has been found to have an ability to reduction in a permeability of a resection to root and dentinal tubule swelling and bacterial reduction. ER-YAG laser result in a no discomfort, less contamination of a surgical site and a no smear layer. Now, article on Mallet et al. In 1996 assessed the connective tissue response over a time to implanted root segment with a burr cut or Nd:YAG laser cut surface. In result, they have found that the tissue repair about the root surface resected with the Nd:YAG laser was delayed than the burr. Rotundo et al. In 2010 compared the dye penetration after retrograde cavity preparation of extracted teeth between ear egg and a laser ultrasonic tools. In result, they have found that no significant difference between two groups. Girish et al. In 2010 compared the seal of a root and Girish et al. 2013 compared the seal of the root end prepared using a ultrasonic prep tip and ear egg laser using three different root and filling material. In result, they have found that the ear egg laser is a better alternative to ultrasonic for a root end preparation. Now limitations. Laser can cause a crack on a root end surface, and the main objective of endodontic surgery is a apical seal. But the laser show no statistic significant difference in a bacterial leakage compared to a conventional method. Now one article on an effect of a Nd:YAG laser on an apical seal after root and resection and MTA retrofill. In that Nd:YAG laser irradiation can decrease the sealing capacity of a MTA in comparison to the apical seal achieved by the MTA without laser irradiation. Further study are recommended to provide a better seal for the MTA retrofill teeth after laser irradiation. In that article, they have mentioned that the why the Nd:YAG laser irradiation can decrease the sealing capacity, because the Nd:YAG laser is associated with the enhanced melting and recrystallization of a dentin, thus it increases the leakage. Now apexogenesis. The diode laser is used in contact mode only for a cutting, so only the soft tissue is closely close extremity with the tip is affected, thus leaving the remnant pulp tissue unaffected. The CO2 laser cause a peripheral thermal damage to the surrounding pulp tissue, so the CO2 laser is not used. ERA laser are in non-contact mode. It reduces the tactile sensation, and this can ablate the hard dental tissue. So ERA is also not used. Now one case report. 8-year-old male patient come with the chief complaint of a sensitivity on eating and drinking, and on a history of trauma is there, and in that on there is no history of a pain and swelling. On an examination, there is Ellis class 4 fracture in 1-2, pulp exposed more than 2 mm, and teeth has no any pathological conditions, and tooth is normal. So they have decided that the laser to do laser pulpotomy. At in that they have used a 2-volt pulpotomy, 2-volt diode laser, and they have do the pulpotomy and apply a nano ionomer cement on that, and done a restoration. These are the radiograph which is showing that the 1 month post-operative radiograph, 3 month post-operative, 6 months and 10 months. In that it is showing that there is a apexogenesis. The formation of the root apex is there, and after that in that they have done after root formation is done, they have done the RCT followed by the ground. Now soft tissue application, diode laser. So for a soft tissue application, diode laser is the most commonly used and studied laser, but the Nd:YAG laser can be used because it has an antimicrobial property, and it has a good cutting, vaporization, and decontamination of a soft tissue. Also, same as a CO2 laser have same property. While ERA laser has a properties which damage to the heart tissue. So ERGL laser is not most commonly used, but it can be used for the fibrous tissue. And CO2 laser is also damage to the tooth structure, but with the precautions and applying a protective layer of on a tooth surface, we can use a CO2 laser. Now, starting with the frenectomy, all the wavelength can be used for a frenectomy. In that, the diode and Nd:YAG laser is used because the penetration depth of the diode and Nd:YAG laser is a 500 μm, while Ibrium and carbon dioxide laser has a 5 to 14 μm. Then carbon dioxide laser treatment for frenectomy provides a better post-operative patient perception for a control of pain and improved function than with the scalpel technique. And Nd:YAG laser may result in a less post-operative pain and fewer functional complications post-operatively. Now, one article on labral frenectomy with the Nd:YAG laser and conventional surgery. In that, they found that the Nd:YAG laser frenectomy reduces the transoperative bleeding, avoiding the need of suturing, and promote the significant reduction in a surgical time in compared with the conventional surgery. Now, comparison between a diode and ERGL laser for ankylosing. In that ERG laser case, they have found that the ERG laser can be used for a lingual frenectomy without local anesthesia. No difference between two group post-surgical discomfort. So they have concluded that the ERG laser is more advantageous than the diode laser in minor soft tissue surgeries because no required of a local anesthesia, only topical application of anesthesia should be done. Now, one case report: a 13-year-old girl referred to a orthodontist for a surgical removal of the hyperplastic maxillary frenal attachment as a part of her ongoing orthodontic treatment. In that, they have used a carbon dioxide laser with the 3 volt and 300 micrometer diameter of a fiber with the water spray. And for the treatment, they have given a local anesthesia. Then when lasing, they used tooth the distance between the laser and tissue should be 0.5, and they have used a defocused mode for a slow treatment. And while lasing the tissue, they use the periosteal elevator to cover the tooth structure. Then the removal of the frenum is done, and then last gingival tissue is scalloped and beveled for the proper gingival adaptations. And this is a post-operative photograph, and this is a after 2 week photograph. Now, one more article: a 14-year-old boy reported to a department of a pediatric dentistry with the chief complaint of a discomfort in a tongue movement leading to difficulty in a speech. In that, they have after anesthesia, they have used a diode laser. First, they have anesthetized the lingual frenum locally, and they have tongue is retracted with the tissue holding forceps. Then sorry, they sorry, suture retraction is used for the retraction of a tongue. Then they have applied the diode laser 810 nanometer, and they have placed the incision vertically and laterally for the better tooth, sorry, tongue movement. This is a immediate post-operative picture. It is a intraoral picture after a 1 week. This is after 1 month and after 2 months, and after 4 months they have found that there is a elevation of a tongue up to the 10 mm. Now, exposure of the unerupted and partially erupted teeth. An impacted or partially erupted tooth can be exposed for a bodily by conservative tissue removal, allowing for the reasonable positioning of the brackets or burden. It has advantages on a non-bleeding, and attachment can be placed immediately, and moreover it is not painful at all. ERAG, NDAG and CO2 laser can be used. In that, a 7.5-year-old male patient reported with the chief complaint of uninterrupted upper front tooth, which is 2-1. On a dental history, revealed that the child had an eruption cyst with respect to upper right central incisor, which was excised surgically 5 months ago successfully. At the time, it was noted that the sixth one had already exfoliated. Then the patient is returned to the department after 5 months. And on examination, there is a palpable palpable tooth on a 2-1 region, and they have remove the tooth, sorry, remove the tissue or covering the tooth, and after 1 month, it is showing that the 2-1 is erupting. Other soft tissue application I will explain in next. These are my references. Thank you.